What is going on, people? It is 420. Tax season ended like a day ago. I am a free man. We are live. We are doing cool stuff. We're going to talk about the history of weed and have a lot of fun. For Instagram people, please jump on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of those things that we can stream on, but not Instagram because Instagram is stupid. So come join us. See you guys. All right, for the rest of you who are with us still live, please come and say hi in the chat. It's always more fun when you interact. There's a bunch of people tuning in and people keep jumping on, so that's awesome. So hopefully you guys listened to our episode we dropped last night for 420, right, Matt? You were there.
Hell yeah.
He was there. So tonight we are basically going to kind of talk about similar stuff, but not exactly the same thing. So I think it's gonna be really fun. We can bring in a lot of stuff we don't normally use, like video, and we can make some voting choices on the throat code and all sorts of good stuff. So hopefully you guys are excited. I am. Nash, thanks for joining us.
Thank
Elliot,
you for having me.
Thanks for not being here yet. He's working. It's fine. I get it. Matt, thanks for being Matt. Say hi.
Good to be Matt.
Good to be Matt. So yeah, you guys ready to have some fun?
I am actually. Give me 1 second.
What's up? No one's gonna talk in the chat. Come on. I thought it was gonna be like live fire. You good? No choking? Okay, maybe a little bit of choking. She is not Nancy Reagan, everyone. I think I killed her. Awesome. So, anything else I didn't cover before we got going? Oh, if you guys want beanies, you're enjoying the beanies. We sold a bunch of them, but we've got some left. So, if you want one, please hit us up on Instagram or Facebook, or email us if you want, I guess. I don't know. Technology is hard. We got some folks
Telegram.
joining in.
Messenger pigeon, maybe? Messenger
pigeon, yes. We definitely take messenger pigeon. We actually offer a discount for messenger pigeon, $5 off, and we get to keep the bird.
Have gotten one of your messenger pigeons though.
Yeah, no, I keep the pigeon.
Yeah,
that's part of the discount. Is I take $5 off, but I keep the pigeon.
Right, it's like a deposit.
Yeah. What are you guys talking about?
Pigeons, specifically
recycling pigeons.
Yeah, sustainable pigeoning.
Was that
What is the term for pigeoning?
Was that the clapback song for TLC Scrubs? No pigeons.
No pigeons. So awesome. Glad to see we have a bunch of people tuning in.
I think it's called pigeon fancying.
Pigeon what?
Fancying. Like someone who keeps pigeons is a pigeon fancier.
Fancy pigeons. Got it.
Is that what a group of pigeons is called? A fancy?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. Although
like a murder of crows. That's the only one I know. There's some other cool ones though.
Yeah, $5 for a pigeon's a lot, but you know what? Like, we're not talking like New York pigeons here. These are like high quality. These aren't mids. These are, I don't know, tops.
It's the cost of climate change.
Yeah,
we all feed pigeons now.
Pigeons are the future.
Thank you, pigeons.
All right, so today we are actually going to be talking about cannabis and maybe pigeons. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how things go.
It's called
yeah. So, Nash, you are a resident cannabis expert. And I use that term very loosely.
You do use it loosely. Almost too loosely, I think.
Almost too loosely. But today we're going to talk about cannabis. We're going to talk about hempamus. I don't know. I thought it would sound better than just hemp. Like get the rhyming going. No.
Hemp is fine.
Fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'm just really excited because for folks that missed the beginning, tax season is over. I am free. So I'm just like living my best life right now. It is amazing. Freedom. It's delicious. I feel so American.
Good for you, Andy. I went from having no job to having 2 jobs, and now I don't sleep.
Who needs sleep when you've got cannabis?
It seems like you went one job too many. You could have just stopped at one, you know that.
I got both at the same time, and I have a problem with saying no.
Not in Biden's America. You can't have one job. Come on.
Very
Buy
true.
one, get one.
Yeah.
The job market.
So Nash, before we get, well, I guess we are getting going. Tell us about the history of cannabis in like 3 sentences. 2.
3 sentences. Okay.
2.
2 sentences.
Yeah.
China's the oldest source that we know of. That's 1 sentence. Racism. That's the 2nd sentence. That's it.
China and racism. China.
If you haven't listened to our episode, which it should be out, it's amazing. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We had a lot of fun making it. Our editor wanted to kill us because we had a whole bunch of people recording at the same time, and it was a lot of fun. And he was like, "What the hell are you doing? I do 2 people. What is 4? I don't do 4."
Sorry, Dom.
We really put Dom through the ringer on this one, and he's real tired of me. So
yeah. All right, so we're talking about China. Tell me more about China.
I thought you said I only had 2 sentences.
Oh, that was just like our intro. Like if this was like a thesis, that was like your abstract. Now we go in.
I see. Okay. Sorry. Shengnung is a Chinese emperor / deity, because you can be both those things in the ancient world. And he's sort of considered the father of Chinese medicine. He gets all these things attributed to him. We're talking like BCE era. I could look up the date, but you guys listened to the episode, presumably. So he becomes sort of the father of Chinese medicine. And so he gets renowned for including cannabis that way.
Yeah, so let's look at this guy's face. It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Look at that. That's a face. That is a nice face.
This
How do I
reminds
maximize this?
I like his bowl.
Yeah.
It's a nice bowl.
This reminds me of the like stop glamorizing the grind memes. Start glamorizing whatever that is.
Absolutely. I want to glamorize making soup.
I don't know what he's doing, but he's styling, dude.
Well,
I like his robes. I like his the whole vibe. It's great.
He's got sweet robes. He's got his little porridge going there. He's adding some mulberry leaves for Elliot. Like, it's just a good time.
Yeah, you and the mulberry leaves, man.
Oh, Nash, we lost your screen. Where'd you go?
The joke was too bad.
Yeah, my mulberry joke was so bad I scared Nash off, I guess.
The the internet service provider just
It's like, no, we can't do this.
No.
All right, well, fine then. I guess we won't learn anything else about
So
our boy.
I could talk about weed then.
Okay.
You want to talk about some weed?
Is it the weed that's in your lungs right now?
I haven't. I smoked on the way home. It's been about 15, 20 minutes since my last burn. I could do another.
Yeah, go for it. Let me see that giant fucking bong you've got.
Nah, I got a bunch of joints. I need a lighter. BRB.
All right, you go. All right, I don't know where Nash went. We have lost our content expert, and I am the content unexpert. So we will find out where she went. But before we do that, I guess, let me pull up another picture of this dude because he has a lot of different variations of what he supposedly looked like, and they're not remotely the same, which is really like interesting, you could say. So, like, for example, let's take a look at this beautiful picture of him, which is, again, supposedly same exact guy, not suspicious at all. They're not making the shit up at all. Where is it? Here he is. Look at this face. Look at it. Does that look like the same guy to anybody?
Oh, wow. He
Yes.
did that up.
Yeah, one looks like it's like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. Like, different guy. So he's supposedly like a half god. And sometimes they show him with these 2 humps on his head, and I don't know why. And sometimes they don't. And sometimes he looks creepy. I think this is him like chewing on a plant to figure out whether or not it's safe for people to eat.
So one is like God mode, and the other one's just him chilling, making soup.
Yeah, he's either a poor dude or he's like eating plants.
I fuck with this like cloak. I get it. Just looks like he's like thatched on himself.
He thatched like made a roof of reeds on his
Yeah, but it's
like
just
chest.
over his shoulders. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's innovation that excites.
that is innovation. So yeah, he's an interesting fella who has this very weird and complicated history of being basically half human. And despite me not knowing anything about him, I will tell you all about him. So yeah, he not only discovered a whole bunch of stuff about cannabis, but he also was responsible for basically like a huge chunk of agriculture, as we'll call it, in China. And he's basically just anything that's like ancient has been basically assigned to him as like
Yep. He's the god. He's
that
the god of everything.
he's the guy that did it, and that's cool. So he's like basically Asian Jesus, or I guess like Chinese Jesus. Asians probably too. There's probably alternatives in all of Asia, but yeah, he's like Chinese Jesus.
What a way.
Yeah, it's funny though. So like, I was like, I really don't know a whole lot about weed, and I watched a documentary, and like half of it was about how Jesus actually just used weed and like made oil out of the weed, and like the holy oil, whatever it is, the anointing oil, was basically like a CBD oil, basically. And it's like, hey, we use this, and that's how he cured the blind that had glaucoma, and like all this kind of shit. And it's like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. So Jesus was just a fucking stoner, is the synopsis that I got from it.
Yeah, basically the research we did confirmed that weed is a cure-all. Either it confirmed weed is a cure-all, or it just claims that weed is a cure-all. Because every person that likes cannabis says it helps them with this, it helps them with that. It helps me with something, I don't know what it is, but I'm either addicted or I just can't sleep at night, and this totally helps. So, cheers and happy 420, everybody.
Yeah. So that's our boy. What the hell was his name again? Sorry.
Shang Nung.
Shen Nung.
Shen Nung.
Shen Nung. So he, covered him. So I don't know where Nash is. She said she was getting back on, but we lost her for a moment.
So you got your indicas and you got your sativas, right? And the indicas are I don't know, the ones that supposedly make you couch lock. Oh, hey buddy, I haven't seen him all day. It's my dog Casper.
Yeah. So speaking of the indica sativa, if you guys follow us on Instagram, somebody had commented about hemp, and I actually ended up going into this like rabbit hole on this
Indica is
like,
couch weed. Yes. Sorry, I was responding to Kai there.
Yeah. So like, there's this idea like around hemp, and I think it's like kind of convoluted because of the fact that we don't have a whole lot of documented history around like how to quantify the THC in weed, because we didn't have the ability to do that up until the 70s. Now, one of the challenges around like hemp versus cannabis is that like a lot of that shit like cross pollinates one another, and both crops are often grown in the same area. So the idea of like there being a hemp plant versus like a cannabis non-hemp that's THC rich is kind of a difficult thing to navigate, because of the fact that you can have basically a similar plant that has high THC, some that has low, but otherwise it's basically the same plant because of this cross pollination. However, historically, because of the breeding processes for each of these plants, like if they haven't completely separated to the point where they don't have any genetic overlap, like the way we might think of like broccoli and mustard, but they are far enough apart that we can delineate that the THC content in a non-hemp plant is significantly higher. And so what researchers did in the 70s in Canada was basically they set this number of 0.3% THC, and that allowed for like what would be like legal hemp that you could grow and it wouldn't like break the law because it was illegal to grow hemp. Um, and by doing this, they were able, like I said, able to legally grow hemp, and that's kind of how we've always now traditionally, um, I guess, framed up the conversation between like this illegal plant and like this thing that you can grow for fiber, despite the fact that like that 0.3% is kind of an arbitrary number because there's a lot of cross pollination. So it's not as simple as saying like, okay, hemp plants have less than 0.3% THC. Plants that you're growing for like medicinal use or whatever it might be are above that 0.3% THC. So
I just
in Go ahead.
I'm just like imagining the scientists that like made that threshold and they're just like sitting around smoking to like 0.8
Smoking it, yeah.
and they're like,
It's definitely 0.3. I got nothing.
yeah, this
Yeah.
shit's terrible. Like, no one's gonna grow this to smoke.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, I had to smoke like a cup and a half of weed, so like,
Yeah.
yeah, no. So like, I think about it like kind of like how we might think of like oak trees. So like with oak trees, you've got red, you've got white, you've got black, and then you've got like all these crosses that are
Did you just
basically
compare
kind of.
weed to oak trees?
Yep, I
You're
did.
done. You're done.
Why? Come on. So it's like there's so much cross pollination if they live near each other that it can be really hard to differentiate. But generally speaking, that's not the case, so it doesn't become a problem. So like when we talk about like hemp versus cannabis, or like I don't even know what you want to call it because technically it's considered a sativa, a cultivar of sativa. Um, so because they're both like cannabis sativa, they are very closely related, but also have like these very distinct properties. Like I almost imagine it the way like I mentioned like broccoli and mustard, and like if you could go back in time to when broccoli was starting to form as its own plant, we're kind of at that stage right now with cannabis, with sativa versus the hemp cultivar, which I think is like a really interesting thing because we always think of ourselves being in the static moment where things have already changed to the point where they will. But if you look at it within that framework, it's very easy to see that we're not nearly as close as we think we are to kind of that end point. And that's it's just kind of cool to like think that like when we're talking about weed, like there's a ton of room for us to grow and evolve in it, and to further separate those lines between hemp and sativa, not hemp. If that makes sense, or am I just fucking rambling into the void?
You lost me at oak trees, man.
Mm.
No, I'm just joking. No, I do understand what you're saying. Like, it's gone crazy with the different strains that you can get on the legal market now. Um, Before it was just I don't know, and still there are people who have their own cultivars they grow in their basement, and I still will always vouch for the home grow. If you have people or if you know people that want to get involved in growing at home, encourage them to do it because um, it's going to be a lot better when everybody has weed to trade with everybody because it'll force the people who are making money on it legally to drive their prices like down, and that's the world that I want to live in because it's pretty much for the elite right now, like on the adult use market where we are in Massachusetts, and I'd like to see it change.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting right now. I was just curious thinking about it. We have an episode coming out in 6 weeks on corn, and we talk about how it's evolved so quickly because of certain characteristics of what makes corn really unique and why it's been able to kind of thrive and succeed across the globe. And I think about cannabis, and it doesn't have the same characteristics, but it does match a lot of the same evolutionary traits that corn has in terms of its adaptability and kind of how you're talking about like homegrown and how if we're doing outdoor grows, those phenotypes that could really express some interesting things, especially now when people are able to grow it in their backyards versus like having okay, I can only grow it someplace that's like secluded and this and that and all these other things because it's illegal. Um, I'm really interested to see how that allows for that plasticity to really come out in the next 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Matt,
Yeah.
plant expert, tell us more.
Well, yeah. I know. I mean, it is interesting, especially those like corn and cannabis are two like really good examples that have gone through like coevolution with humans. Um, and like those are always like really interesting. Just like seeing how people have like evolved very like closely with this plant. And how like in that sort of way, um, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm too
Yeah,
stoned.
no. So I'm thinking about like with the podcast. I think a lot of people assume that like we are perennial crops only people, and like there's obviously a big space for that, particularly because it's not a huge part of our traditional diet as it exists today. But plants like corn, which we can definitely make a very valid argument that we use way too much of. And also like the way we're selectively breeding it is not really indicative of the local ecosystem that they're growing in. But cannabis, it has, I think, the same potential for a number of different reasons. Partly because of the hemp capacity, partly because of the medicinal capacity. But it offers, I think, a unique um, plant that has, like you said, co-evolved with us, has existed alongside humanity across the globe and across multiple climate differences. And I think that diversity in genetics is something that's really unique and also something that we can take a huge advantage of in terms of like sustainable living.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, so
Are
yeah,
you guys still talking about weed?
yes, dude, come on, keep up.
Are there many like multi-purpose? Because it like for like other like flanks, for example, you'll get like multi-purpose breeds that like oil seed and like the fiber. Are there like uh dual use cannabis strains?
So, not so that's the thing. So like hemp has been grown for like more fibrous qualities. That like cannabis, I guess you could theoretically. I mean, if you've seen a cannabis plant, like they get fucking big, and you
Yeah.
can use them theoretically for that same purpose. One of the things that I like to do, and something we'll be filming some footage on this summer, probably, right, Matt,
Yeah.
is burning the cores of some cannabis stalks and making some really good extracts out of it because it's chock full of really good stuff like potassium. But in terms of like utilize, like I don't think there's a high THC or high CBD hemp strain that I'm aware of. I'm not like super knowledgeable about it. Um, but like in terms of other plants like flax, corn is obviously the biggest one. Soybeans the other biggest one. Um, those are really the ones that I can think of off the top of my head that have been used traditionally in terms of potential crops that are multi-use. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of opportunity in a lot of different crops that I think we just don't know a whole lot about. But like something as simple as you know you look at like a watermelon and or whatever, and it's like, okay, you've got the fruit. The seeds can be used for different things. Like seed butters are really big now because of peanut allergies. Something that's been kind of lost over the last 70 or 80 years is like eating um, vegetable leaves. So like especially like pumpkin leaves and things like that have been a traditional delicacy, but people don't do that anymore. So I think a lot of it's just really kind of getting back to kind of the fundamental uses of a lot of plants outside of like the most prized component of it. And I think that's like kind of the first step for a lot of things is really evaluating what we already have and utilizing it appropriately versus, I guess, like trying to find like a perfect fit fix crop. And that's a whole other project. But
Mm.
like
Yeah,
Elliot and mulberry
I,
leaves.
I think
Fucking
weed.
loves them.
I do, but I think weed is a lot more specialized now. Like you were saying, where hemp is grown to be more fibrous and whatnot, and have lower content of specific chemicals. And then the cannabis that I was growing 3 years ago when I worked in the industry is specialized. It's all female plants. They're grown from genetic seeds, and they all grow female, and they don't produce seeds at all, or very few seeds. Try not to have seeds in there. Seeds are bad, and there's not much else left of the plant, but leaves and stems. Like when we're done harvesting and stuff, like you could probably still use the stock for fibers and stuff, maybe, but you'd have to get rid of all of the trichomes and like sticky sap, like in the stock. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how you would do that.
Yeah, if you dry it out, it gets pretty it almost looks like bamboo. It hollows out because like you've got the everything running through it, and you can burn it and char it out basically, and like I said, use it as like a soil amendment or something like that. But like I think the point that you're making that's really important about cannabis today is as much as we're thinking about this like resurgence because of legalization, it's also created this really like bad thing where wheat is going through the same thing that corn and all these other crops have gone through, which is like it's being selectively bred for very specific traits. And also, it's being selectively bred in a way that there's no cross genetics that are happening. And that's kind of a problem. And like David just commented as I was saying that, that the strains are all super close and there's like this very narrow funnel that cannabis has gone through because they're looking for certain traits of basically large buds with high THC. There's only a handful of seeds those came from, and they've all kind of, they're like basically the equivalent of like a golden retriever. Like they all look kind of the same because they're all basically genetically the same, and there's only so many which ways you can breed them back and forth before you start having problems. And that's it is what it is, I guess. That's the game when capitalism, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I guess. Though there's people out there still mixing and matching and doing whatnot. The strain names have gone out of control, and I don't even pay attention anymore. Weed is weed. So,
yeah.
um,
Well, so I don't know where Nash went. Hopefully she'll hop on in a little bit, but I guess we'll keep going. So hopefully, if you guys listened to the episode, you heard us talk a little bit about China and India and Southwest Asia. Let's go with that, because that's a complicated story I can't really talk about. But I do want to talk about the one thing that is really important here is Nancy Reagan. Yay or nay?
I'm not gonna
Thoughts?
say it. You're gonna say it.
Hold on. Let me
She's got a
before we
reputation.
get there. Hold on. Hold on.
She
I'm
does
pulling
have
up
a
right now.
reputation. I heard.
Yes, I want a full vote from everybody. This is young Nancy. Let's take a look at her. I want the full vote.
Yep. She's got
Is
a reputation.
is that the goat or no?
The throat goat.
Yeah. Does that look like
Look, I mean, she's got a reputation. I didn't say it, but like three other people did.
one of them named Schmeliot?
Nope, wasn't me.
No? Okay. So yeah, so we talked about a bit in the episode about Miss Nancy Reagan and her war on drugs. For those of you that recall way back before you were probably born, she pushed the Just Say No campaign, which led to D.A.R.E. And for those of you guys that went through American public schools, you probably remember the Fun D.A.R.E. program. So fortunately for you guys, I found rather, some really good and exciting vintage nostalgia. Um, so Elliot, you ready for this shit? Are you ready? I'm super excited because this is like the most ridiculous video I've
I
ever
don't
seen in
know.
my life.
I don't know what you found, so
No, I have not shown anyone else because I want it to be a surprise. You ready?
yeah, bud. Show me what you got.
Let me make this thing bigger. I'm going to take us off the screen. Where's the audio? Hold on.
You broke it.
I broke it. Hold on. I'm not used to doing these kinds of technology things. It's supposed to play the audio with it. Hold on.
This is painful.
Sorry.
Painful watching this.
Terrible. I will get it working in 1 second. I don't know why anyone would let me be in charge of technology here. It's a terrible idea. All right, let's try this again. Include audio. No? Okay, don't include audio, I guess. Hold on. Matt, do you know how to do technology?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
I actually don't know how to do this software though.
Send me the link, bud.
I'll send you the link.
I'll give it
Oh,
a
wait,
shot.
got it. I think I found it. We got it here. Ready? Let's try this one more time.
As they journey through the land of decisions and choices. Let's see how they face the challenge.
This is Tiny Toons.
Nope, this is a D.A.R.E commercial.
I don't want to read another word about tobacco addiction. Yeah, I have marijuana coming out of my ears. Relax, grandfather. So classmates and I are writing a report for D.A.R.E about the harmful effects of drugs. Okay, see you in a few.
Chew your food 25 times.
It's oatmeal, grandfather.
Bro, did you find this on YouTube?
Hell yeah.
Kids in this family.
Do not trade your lunch for a frog.
Grandfather, I don't do kid stuff like
I love that the grandfather smokes.
Mr. Lee, he's still like frog, I know.
Our team's report is going to be the best. Hey guys, wait up!
Like, this is how kids work.
Finish the report? Of course. This whole report was a bunch of junk. No kidding. I don't know anybody who does drugs. Why bother learning about it? I'm glad we're learning this stuff.
Oh my god.
Hey, isn't that Officer D.A.R.E.'s puppy?
Did they give
Officer
all
D.A.R.E.
that? Did they give all that one kid their homework?
Maybe you have raised.
He's got to make all the copies.
No, I went to the vet last week. Oh no, he's got a report.
This is the longest commercial I have ever seen.
Oh, it's not a commercial. It's a whole cartoon they made.
So you lied and said it was a commercial? I'm not watching
There
it.
was a commercial, and I went for the show instead. Don't worry, it's not that long. I just want you to see what drugs look like to D.A.R.E.
Benny, potential customers.
Cute.
Yeah, what does it say in the manual? They look about 10 or 11.
Drug pushers with a manual.
It's giving 9-year-olds heroin.
Let's go. We got merchandise to move.
Is that bad?
Wannabe.
This place is really strange.
God, I wish drug
Just
dealers
find
would
that
teach
dog.
me.
Get out of here.
Hi, you boys and girls.
Who are you?
I am the Magic Rabbit Guy. I'm here to show you around the magical, fun world of happiness and joy.
This needs to end now.
No.
But I've got something even more amazing. May I introduce you to the wonderful world of cigarettes? Meet Nicotina, Smoking Jim, and Cool Rex. As you can see, smoking makes you look like an adult. Also more slim, attractive, and generally cool.
Wow, she's beautiful. What's shaking, kids? No thanks. Hold on. Tobacco is one of the worst things for your body. It's filled with poisonous stuff like nicotine, tar, and carbon monoxide. They
Just reminds me, I need to go get a pack of cigarettes.
Making your heart work harder and gradually turning your lungs black. Lots of smokers get cancer and have to have a lung removed. Cigarettes aren't cool. 1,200 people a day die from tobacco. 1,200? Every day. I mean, just look on any pack of cigarettes. There's a warning about how deadly they are. It's the puppy. Let's go. Wow, you learned all that stuff from D.A.R.E, didn't you? Yeah, I guess so.
This is like the worst version of Alice in Wonderland.
Risa, you go first. Not.
Hi again, kids. It's drinking time.
Hell yeah!
Want to be popular? Alcohol can make you confident and more fun to be around.
What's this?
But don't worry, you'll get used to it. Let's
Yep.
party. Everyone else is.
Let's not. Don't be fooled by peer pressure. Alcohol might make you seem more fun, but to everyone else, you look stupid. Drinking makes you lose coordination. You could become violent and have trouble thinking.
Yep. Filled with rage. A rage pickle. Look at that guy.
Alcoholics
I want to know what
have
the animators thought when they were making
start
this.
controlling their personality. Beer commercials might make alcohol look glamorous, but the fact is,
I mean,
hospitals and jails
I figured I'd have to do a lot of research.
I should know.
Get inspired, you know what I mean?
How about?
Get hammered drunk and then write a kid's cartoon.
Stupid dog. Oh no! I spent all night typing that.
I feel like I recognize that kid's voice. Why do I recognize his voice?
What's that smell?
It's not me. It smells funny.
Oh, excuse me. Have you
Oh
seen
my
a small
goodness.
dog?
Small dog. I remember seeing what my mind told me may have been the illusion of this small dog, Eureka. But it wasn't his real dogness. There is a difference.
What am I looking at here?
Might not be what you
That's a
want,
joint.
And what leads you may not be followed. You follow?
So you haven't seen him?
You see who?
The dog?
What's she talking about? Nothing. She isn't talking about anything.
Yeah,
She's
that's-
stoned.
that's
She's
how
on
it be.
weed. Most of the things that are dangerous about cigarettes also apply to marijuana, but pot's worse. It makes you lose your memory and motivation. Real soon, the things that make you an
What are we
interesting
talking
person
about?
vanish, and then you're left with an empty life, and there's nothing to laugh at.
And there's another part about marijuana.
What's that?
It can lead you to more exciting, harder drugs to come.
What are harder drugs?
Oh, you'll find out, my dear.
Where are we now?
Want to try some cocaine? First snort is free.
Give him the cold shoulder.
Iggy, I've been thinking about what kids were saying about drugs not being too good for you.
Shut up. What do you know? I've never felt better. Ew. Kids, Cocaine and crack are my favorites. It makes you happy, sophisticated, and a better talker. And you'll forget all your troubles at home.
Yeah,
And you can put your hand through glass like it's not even there.
Can kill you faster than all the other drugs we've
Try
seen.
a little.
It totally is, though. Don't do it.
I know someone who's hooked on coke. Sometimes he even steals from his parents to pay for it. Cocaine is one of the most addictive drugs. Don't even try it.
This looks like the way out.
Get back here!
Let's forget the report and just get out of here.
Is this on their way to
What
school?
do they mean by
Yes, this is a typical day going to school in the 90s.
They're kind of late.
Get high. It can ruin your liver and give you diseases. Acid or LSD make you see stuff that's not there. It can also make you lose your mind.
Yeah.
They become so addicted
Oh,
they
that's
lose
making a lot of
You
sense.
also get hepatitis or even AIDS from sharing needles.
People overdose on uppers and downers all the time around here. Oh no! We're trapped!
Oh, the acid looks pretty sweet, though.
Ready to try the good stuff, kiddies?
Don't let him fool you!
Why, you little two-timing... Well, if you can't decide, try them all. Go ahead, boys.
Try them all.
That's exactly what doing drugs is
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, if you can't pick one, just try all of them.
What was it Officer D.A.R.E said?
Benny, get over here.
He doesn't have any power over you. You can do whatever you want.
Power! That's it!
Don't pull that.
It moves our power.
Come on, you guys, help me!
Is this a metaphor for
Yeah.
Take a
what?
look.
Here.
That could be your future on drugs.
Did they?
Take the power back. They're taking the power back.
Yes.
It's
That's literally what just happened. Somebody one dragged the joint. All the booze and cigarettes are gone, dude. This party's fucking over, dude. I'm out of here.
So drugs don't have.
Yeah, so that's enough of that.
Wow.
I've been sitting on that gold for you guys for like a week. Been just staring at it, watching it on loop every night.
I
There's
wish
I have a table and there's heroin and crack and coke and mushrooms and LSD.
You're
And
like,
then I watch that and then I say no and I pull out this giant cable out of the wall.
Yeah.
And
You can't decide which one to do, so you do all of them.
and then if I don't pull the cable, yeah, I do all of them. It's bad night.
Right.
Real bad
And
night.
then you pull the cable out of the wall because
Yeah,
that-
for
that
other
ca-
reasons.
right. No, that cable was supposed to be there, and you just did all the drugs. That's why you did it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I don't know what happened to our special guest. She has disappeared. Maybe she went too hard for 420. I don't know. But I do have one other actual commercial that I've been saving for you, lovely special people. Elliot.
I wish you showed me the commercial first.
No, never. Oh, actually, so in the episode we talked about Reefer Madness. Before we get there, I want to share this, the trailer from Reefer Madness, and I just want to ask if anyone's experience with weed has ever been like this, just for my own edification.
Hop at the local soda fountain. Innocently they dance. Innocent of a new and deadly menace lurking behind closed doors. Marijuana, the burning weed with its roots in hell.
Yes, that's exactly how I smoke weed.
In this film, you will see the
Anxiously at the
ease
window.
with which this vicious plant can be grown in your neighbor's
Vicious,
yard.
look at that thing.
Rolled into harmless-looking cigarettes, hidden in an innocent shoe or watch
A shoe.
case. In this startling film, you will see dopesters lure children to destruction.
We're going over to Joe's place. Why don't you come along?
We have a date to play a set of doubles.
Oh, you can play anytime. Come on, we'll have some laughs.
Can I go along with you?
Sure.
Hey, I'll see you at dinner, sis.
If you want a good smoke, try one of these.
You will meet Bill, who once took pride in his strong will as he takes the first step toward enslavement.
Of course, if you're afraid.
Enslavement.
Smoking the soul-destroying reefer, they find a moment's pleasure, but at a terrible price. Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide.
Holy shit!
Good special effect.
That's just from one joint, dude? Yo, we just
And the
think the
ultimate
shit.
end of the marijuana addict. Hopeless insanity. See this important film now, before it is too late.
Do we think he's having a heart attack? So if you notice at the bottom,
I
it
think
says
he just
formerly
remembered-
tell
I
your
think-
children. And the reason for that is because it was originally made formerly tell your children. And then the guy, they couldn't show a lot of the like tantalizing, we'll call it, content. So during this time, the person who, it was also at the same time as they were like making stuff illegal, like just generally speaking, like this is right after Prohibition, like allowing things like violence on TV was being banned, or violence in like public spaces and things like that were being banned. Like very like Protestant things were happening across the country in a bunch of different areas. And basically that drove a lot of stuff underground or into like special spaces. So like this is when you had the rise of like porn film theaters and things like that, where you could like go watch these like dirty movies. And part of the dirty movies was originally like including stuff that was just like violent. So the movie was basically bought by some dude who was trying to like build his career, and he just took the same exact movie and then added a whole bunch of scenes that were just like crazy stuff happening. So like he played on this like new fear of marijuana because people didn't know what marijuana was because they knew cannabis. And he was like, hey, come see this movie that's got all these grotesque scenes. And that was like what fed into like the anti-weed mania that sprung up around this time. And it was all just to like make money. It was like,
so it was just a shitty movie that helped influence marijuana being like outlawed.
Yeah, sort of. So it really started, if you want to go further back.
I mean,
like,
I find it kind of funny only because I live in the time like now. Like,
so like 5,000 years ago.
God damn it, Andy.
I'm kidding. But no, like in the 1920s, as hemp was continuing to make progress as like a major crop in the United States, what's his name? William. The hell's his name? I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But basically, some rich dude who owns a bunch of newspapers. William Henry Hearst, I think. He owns a bunch of newspapers, and he also owns a bunch of places that make paper pulp out of like trees. So he has his newspapers, and he sees this industry that's increasingly cutting into his paper industry. And you know what's one of the great things of owning a newspaper company? You can just write whatever the fuck you want. So he uses all of his newspapers to start like talking about marijuana, this new drug that's coming out of Mexico, and it's making Mexicans and black people rape white women and all this kind of shit. Like all really fucked up stuff. And it's basically like an attempt to make weed illegal. Of course, like marijuana, the name itself actually refers to like basically like a wild tobacco plant originally. And it has nothing to do with the plant he's talking about, but it's really scary. And he's the one that wrote the original movie, who funded it at least, about like being like you smoke one joint and you're going to like have sex and then kill somebody, and like you're gonna lose your mind and all this stuff. And then this person who sees like the tidal wave is like, I'm just gonna like totally grift off of this. He's like basically the dude that wrote as like the Ben Shapiro of like 1930. He saw the tidal wave, jumped on it, and like rode that shit to fame, and like pushed the basically the public perception of what weed was, and kind of how it was like this thing that was like very anti-American, anti like civil society and all these types of things, which obviously has had some long-term effects.
Yeah, definitely has. We're getting around to it though. I think we just got to get through there's a bill going through Congress that has federal legalization on it, and we'll see if it gets through this time.
Yeah. So that's basically how things led up to the 1960s. What's interesting, and some of the stuff we didn't cover in our episode, is that in the 60s, and then like leading up to like Nixon, and as things progressed, Nixon actually pushed or there was a lawsuit that basically said the tax stamp law that had basically made hemp illegal despite not like having THC, because it was just taxed so heavily that it didn't make any financial sense. That ended up getting overturned, but immediately after, Nixon didn't want weed to become legal, so he put together a task force to like outline the reasons why weed should not be legal. And the task force came back to him and said, we actually did our research and we feel the opposite. And he said, go fuck yourselves, and then put together the federal narcotics laws that we have today, signed them in, treats weed like the hardest drug, and kind of that is how we got to where we are today. And now things are slowly starting to like come to their senses.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty. The whole prohibition thing and how that government overreach just spread to anything and everything after that, based on shitty movies and just overall people bitching public opinion.
Yeah.
Like it's a good thing, but it's a bad, like it's using your powers, like instead of using your powers for good, like, and like I don't know. It's just
yeah. It's one of those things that's like this weird blip in human history where this plant has been made illegal. Like historically speaking, we'll look back if human race is like still like globalized and has like records of the modern era, and they're gonna be like, for like 80 years this plant was made illegal. At no time before and at no time after was it ever illegal. It's just this weird thing that happened.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up, though, I do want to show some sweet commercials.
You're still hung up on the commercials.
You know what? It's one of those things, you go down the rabbit hole and you're like, holy shit, do you remember how fucking insane this shit used to be?
I don't remember any of this.
You don't?
Maybe, no, that's all the weed, man. It makes you lose your memory. And forget who you are and not have a job or whatever else it said.
You ready?
Also,
PSAs, not so much.
Drink a little water. Take the doctor's pill.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 worst anti-drug commercials.
I like this one.
For this list, we're considering only commercials and advertisements, which means we're excluding anti-drug PSA movies and propaganda films like Reefer Madness.
I thought you were a sport. Of course, if you're afraid.
Number
Yeah,
10,
you pussy,
ignoring
smoke
a
it.
friend's problem.
Unless you're afraid.
So is the message here, don't use drugs or a small monster will attach itself to your leg? Maybe or maybe not, but it's kind of hard to tell. One of the main rules of making a successful commercial is being able to get the intended message
sloth?
across to the audience.
I think so.
Somebody has to say something.
Whether this ad,
But I gotta fast forward because the best ones are at the end. Give me 1 second. Going right to the gold. You ready?
I mean, the slot didn't look.
Is
It looked
crack.
kind of
You don't
gross.
want to get mixed up with a guy like me.
You went to Pee Wee.
Stupid ass.
Game.
You went to Pee Wee.
I did.
You're not ready.
How do you not go to Pee Wee?
Rebel.
Poor Pee Wee Herman. While his later arrest for enjoying himself a little too much during an X-rated movie made him infamous and derailed his career for the better part of 2 decades.
I think the question everybody was asking at the time is, what were you thinking?
His arrest for marijuana merely resulted in a bad anti-drug PSA.
This is crack. Rock cocaine. It isn't glamorous or cool or kid stuff.
From the weird lighting to Paul Rubin's deadpan delivery, a more effective message may be that crack is bad because it makes a person boring.
Look, everybody wants to be cool. But doing it with crack isn't just wrong. It could be dead wrong.
Now, if only Pee Wee had been required to make a PSA for that movie theater incident.
Fucking classic.
Try it.
Number 3, snake.
Hey, little dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room.
Ever been around a really bad person who suddenly morphed into a snake?
Oh shit.
Didn't think so. But life must be different for the people who
Oh
create
my God.
anti-drug ads.
You're freaky
This
out,
spot is
babe.
based on the concept of a drug dealer turning into a dangerous, albeit well-dressed viper.
You know who I am. Snake. Dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more.
This particular PSA was probably much more effective for would-be drug users who were afraid of snakes than for those who had pet boas, though.
Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look
Dude,
like the kind of
oh
guy
my
that would do
God,
that to a
dude.
kid like you? Yes.
Number 2, I'm not a
Oh,
chicken,
shit.
you're a turkey.
I got some stuff you just gotta try. What is it? Pot.
It's understandable that an anti-drug
That's
PSA
the
would want to
worst
show
drugs
kids that they can
ever.
stand
I would've
up to
turned those
anyone
down
who
too,
tries
to
to
be fair.
threaten them
Shitty
into
pinners,
using
dude.
drugs. But this ad
They're not
unjustly
even
maligns
straight.
innocent parties in the process.
What are you, chicken?
Dissing poultry in order to get an anti-drug message across to the grade school set is simply
I
uncalled
love
for.
chicken.
What should he do? Cake.
Get a teacher.
Excellent. Get a pizza. Get real.
In fact, when we watch this commercial, we feel like asking the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles what our fine-feathered friends ever did to them.
I'm not chicken. You're a turkey.
He's
Got
right.
him.
Drug dealers are dorks. Don't even talk to them. Cowabunga!
Before we reveal our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
This is the way it's been since she started smoking pot. She's all lazy and boring.
You know a bad
Half for the
idea when you
night,
see
smoke
one.
for a month. I love it.
Live above weed. Live above the influence.
Smoked weed 2 weeks ago, now I can't do
I think
anything.
people shouldn't do drugs. They can make you forget things, like which animals have stripes.
Dub, what's wrong with you? Tonsillitis?
Appendicitis.
Yeah!
Number 1, drug abuse is the new slavery.
Almost 400 years ago, African Americans were brought to this continent in chains.
This cringeworthy anti-drug ad attempted to address the African American community specifically by comparing drug use to slavery.
Don't dishonor them by becoming a slave to heroin,
my God,
cocaine, and crack.
The spot is complete with chained people on ships, tribal-sounding background music, and cruel whip-wielding overseers that bring to mind a Civil War documentary rather than a reminder
That's
to stay
awesome.
away from
I
drugs.
love that they put
Make
that
no
on
mistake,
TV.
drug abuse is the new slavery.
When the glib phrasing, new slavery, that's
Holy
normally
shit.
used to refer to fashion is considered, it further contributes to the ad's insulting nature.
That's just racist.
Do you agree with our list?
You got it. Let's see if Joey's that smart.
Damn.
Christ.
That's a good one, right?
It's awesome.
Do you think it changed anyone? Do you think people watch that and they're like, you're right, I shouldn't do crack because slavery?
I mean, I would have been like, what's crack? You know, I would have asked everybody on the street, what's crack?
Seems
You
like
know
a
I'm a
big
cop,
deal.
right? I'm just asking. I don't know what it is. What is it?
Would have gone over well. So Matt, welcome to the 90s. Do you feel like you missed something by not being there?
You know what? Didn't really need it. I think I'm fine. Oh,
I mean, I definitely needed it.
Yeah, it was an experience, a flashback. Hopefully, folks watching also enjoyed that nice little flashback to a simpler time, as some might say. Um, so yeah, that's basically all we got. So I did want to plug that next week we are not going to have an episode on Sunday because we just dropped 8 episodes in like 12 days or something like that. So we're going to take a nice, much needed couple days off.
Yeah.
But the weekend after, we have a very special episode, right, Matt?
hell yeah. And
We
learn
do.
about hydrogen power.
Hydrogen power.
So, needless to say, my
Let's
Luddy
get
ass is not the
hydrogenated.
expert on this one. So Matt led the way on the research. I'm very proud of him. He did a great job. It's a really great episode. I'm very excited for you guys to hear it. It's something a little bit outside the scope of what we normally do. So I think you guys will really enjoy it. We've got some cool, fun, exciting stuff coming. A little bit different than what we've traditionally covered. So I think you guys will really appreciate it. And, hopefully you guys are enjoying your 420. It's been a fun time.
Yeah, I need to
And
go smoke a bunch of weed to forget all of that cartoon and everything that I just
no,
saw. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
ingrained in your
yeah.
brain. And
No, it's not.
every year on 420, I'm going to make you watch it now.
I've already forgot it. I smoked weed like a week ago, and I'm still
I'm going to
slow. So
send the slave commercial to your wife and have her put it on your phone. It's like every time you try to open it, it's like a different screenshot every day from it.
yeah, she's gonna throw memes at me for doing drugs in the house. I'm gonna start ashing on the floor.
What could go wrong?
I mean, it's the pick your battles, you know.
Yeah, that's really the gateway drug is ash. Once you start dropping some ashes around the house and you're homeless, then you go to the crack. That circle life.
Yep. I can't. Oh, crack. I can't. Mm. I've smelled crack before. I smelled it, and it does not smell appetizing. So I gotta really be ready to try that one.
I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah.
There's no rules that say
No,
you
you
have
do.
to.
Sometimes when you're like your frisbee is like too high in a tree, or like, Andy, you lose your cat or something like that, and you just want to find it in like 30 seconds or less. You know, you just never had the urge to just smoke some crack and get all your problems solved, like real fast.
Not usually.
Then you get like a tiny headache, but you can just like smoke some more crack and it goes away.
If you say so.
You keep doing that, and then your family goes away, or they join you, which is kind of worse.
I mean, yeah. Hopefully they don't. No.
I mean, I've seen it happen. So
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, if you guys haven't listened to the episode, go check it out. We're much more thorough. There's more Nashville in that than there was tonight. Don't know what happened.
I think she was literally like just done. Just she was done like looking at all of us.
Maybe
I don't think she was very happy.
We scared her off. So if you haven't, go check out the episode. We'll have a new one out in 10 days. 10 days. If you haven't caught up on the new content, please do. If you want to watch those commercials again, show your best friends because they're just so good. Let me know. I'll hook you up with those links.
Post those links, dude.
Because they were really fantastic. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Anything else you guys want to add? No?
Nope.
All right. So hopefully we'll see you guys around. If you guys are not on our Patreon, please think about it. The support helps us pay for all the various costs of hosting
He said,
the podcast.
think about it. I'm saying, fucking do it. Do it.
Get first access to
don't think about it.
Our
Just do it.
episodes. Yeah, spend all your money. Give it to Elliot so he can go try crack. And embarrass his ancestors. Apparently,
who wants to see
according
my
to
live
the
stream?
commercials.
Just willingly be a slave.
Yeah. So yeah, you get early access to our content, and whenever we do stuff like make hats and get new stickers. Hint, hint. We drop them for our patrons first. So if you're really excited for pro content branding, we can hook you up with that.
Yeah, the hats are dope.
The hats are dope. And the other, Elliot, Matt, where are your hats?
I've
Come
been
on, guys.
wearing it all the time. Wait.
My hat is in my truck.
Elliot lost it. $10.
Nope, it's in my truck.
$10. He lost it.
Didn't lose it.
Literally.
Let's see it, Matt. Let's see that sexy khaki hat. Look at that.
Yeah.
There it is.
It matches your shirt.
Yeah.
Throwing up the beanie.
I have actually been wearing it like a lot. It's like
getting a lot of compliments.
It snowed. We had like 4 inches of snow here like yesterday.
Nope. No one
Dope
approved.
swag.
It's slush. Anyway, it's a good hat. It's seen a lot of use.
Oh yeah.
So if you want hats, we've still got a few left. Hit us up on whatever social medias you follow us on.
We'll find you.
Yeah, we got a bunch of video content coming up hopefully this summer because we've got a nice backlog of stuff that we want to do. I'm building some really sweet chicken tractors, which I'm hoping to live stream on here. Also, haven't posted it, haven't announced it yet, but we'll probably do another fermented plant juice video live stream because all of the Japanese knotweed that I hate is coming up in the front yard.
FPJ.
So I'm gonna go chop it all down, probably in like a week or two, and we'll make some delicious FPJ for our plants. So if you want to go do that live with me, come join us.
Oh yeah.
So I think that's about it, unless anyone else has got anything else. Elliot, Matt, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Nope. If you guys have any weed that you're not sure if it's weed or other drugs, you can just send it to me, and I will test it for you. And no refunds.
You got an ounce? I know a guy that can turn it into an eighth. This guy.
All right, guys, have fun. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Later.